we were waiting. Maybe you were somewhat on the wrong way to get my office, right?
Very sorry.
We are sorry for that. We are sorry for that. My mind was guiding me for sorry for that. So again, I welcome you to my office. You know that at present, where we are passing through the culture of open market economy, so obviously we expect that the market should be competitive. If we can make it competitive, so consumers will be benefited, of course, having the quality products and particularly fair price, and we expect there will be more investment. So my government is doing trying to develop a business ecosystem in the country. So government formulated a policy, you know, that it's very important that the things should go under a legal framework. The government has formulated an act, that is Competition Commission Act 2012. And practically this office was established in 2016, and our journey, just we have started our journey. We have to go far, you know, 23 years that we have passed. We are at the learning stage, my friend. So we are working to develop a system so that we can make some results by doing our activities. Now we are in a process to formulate our rules. We hope that in a very short time that will be done. I have seen that your system in the name of Japan Fair Trade Commission and my commission having the same structure, and at least I guess that it will also be somewhat similar. But you are of course very rich to speak on this particular issue, and you have come to so many activities and a long story doing the job in the country. I guess that it has started in 1947. And so very long history. So it's an opportunity for us to share our views and ideas. Particularly, we are expecting that we will be trained by you how to work. And even we don't know what instruments we should have to identify the offenses under our act, how to identify and how to take action against it. So we must learn these things. And about resources, yes, you know that we have some limitations, but my government is very serious, of course, to develop a friendly business environment in the country, so that nobody or no institution will have the somewhat gaps, so that they can make any offenses, that anything like operation or maybe abuse of domination. So today that I have seen the schedule, that we should have a formal discussion between the respective delegates and from our side. Then I expect that some sparks will speak on some issues. I hope that we will be today having those speech. So, sorry. Feel free to know anything that you like to know, and we will also also share our ideas. Let's go for the next step.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the very warm, very kind words. And we really appreciate it. And it's very honorable for us to invite you here to share our experience with all of you. And as you know that we have experienced a number of failure and also success story and during the several careers. So yeah, we are we feel very much honored to share those kind of experiences with all of you. And so maybe this first session we'd like to talk about our recent developments of the technical assistant with other professional circles. We have conducted a number of sharing activities with some of the ASEAN countries, and especially ASEAN countries, and also African continents and other Eastern European countries. So, Mr. Hiro, I'm a Secretary General, Japan Affairs Commission, in charge of the international affairs matter, including technical assistance activities with the foreign countries. And my right hand side, Mr. Hiro Kishimoto, I call him Hiro. Yeah, Hiro. Yeah, he's a former officer of AFCAT. So he worked in the AFCAT for 3 years. Yeah. Yeah, with Dr.
Yes, sir, Anka.
Yeah, AFCAT. Yeah, in Geneva.
Yes, I know.
That's right. So he had rich experiences with technical assistant activities. And also, she's Miss Kaori Igarashi, and she's also in charge of technical assistant activities. And she has rich experiences about the investigation against some of the agricultural cooperatives, excluding some of the computers. And also, she had experience of the merger and acquisition review. So we have some kind of experiences about functional enforcement. So she can experiment later on with the merger and acquisition review practice. So anyway, so in this first session, we'd like to introduce our recent development of the technical assistance activity from Hiro. So I'd like to find out that
our slides are limited, so maybe we can
Sorry for the interruption. I have forgotten to introduce our
okay.
the website.
Thank you very much.
Good morning everybody, my name is Mohammed Abdul. I have been working here as member of the commission since February this year, and before that I was additional secretary of the Ministry of Commerce. I have been working in the Ministry of Commerce for long, and before coming to Ministry of Commerce I was also employed as commercial counsel in Berlin, Germany. So I have some idea about European culture.
He also worked at the University of
I'll make a look at that next.
Berlin, which years?
2006 to 2009, 2 years.
Thanks so much.
Important, I forgotten to introduce myself. I'm Mofizul Islam. So before joining here, I was senior secretary to Ministry of Commerce. And before that, I was secretary to IBD under Ministry of Planning. So again, I served in the field and in Ministry as well. So thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I am Anwar Hussain, acting as a secretary, mainly at this institution. Before coming here, I worked in the field as a history of
Good morning, this is Mohammad Khalid Abdul Nasser, Director of I'm working responsibility is advocacy policy and technology.
Good morning, I'm Mohammad Anwar Hussain. I'm working director. Before I joined here, I worked in several ministries and planning commission. Basically, I worked in the development, planning and economic operations. Thank you.
Hello to everyone. My name is Amir Abdullah. I am one of the directors in this commission.
I am looking after the matter of inquiry and investigation. I have since 2017.
Good morning. This is Mohammad Jawan India. I am Deputy Secretary to the Government.
Ohio gozaimasu. I am Alamgir Hussain, Director of Law and Enforcement. And in addition, I would like to say I did post-graduate diploma on Japanese studies from University of Dhaka. And I have a little bit idea about Japan and your development and your team engagement. Thank you.
Good morning, this is Anwarul Halim. I am working as Deputy Director in Bangladesh Competition Commission and I am also a member of Bangladesh Administration Service. Thank you.
Good morning, I am Mohammad Raihan Alam, working this Competition Commission as an accounts officer.
Good morning. This is Osman Afroja Khatun. I am Deputy Director, Admin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And sorry, and we also missed the introduction of our very, very important two person. Yeah, please introduce yourself.
I'm Yu Klassen from Infrastructure. I'm in charge of support and access to Japanese companies in Bangladesh. So I come to Bangladesh this July. I feel huge potential in this market.
And also, this Nanta.
Good morning, my name is Naoko Anzai. My process here is rather informal, but I'm here as somebody who has been in Bangladesh for the last 20 years on and off, and also a former student of competition university, long time ago. Nice to be here.
So, now I'd like to move on to our explanation. Sure.
Please go ahead.
Would it be possible to
Laptop?
Yeah, laptop. I mean, yeah, we have prepared some slides of the numbers.
So,
So for your course.
I should try to give this. I should try to give you an overview of legal background, what mandate the Act has given us, and present condition of our Competition Commission in terms of technical knowledge, especially in terms of manpower, and what we have done so far under so many constraints, and then what challenges we have been facing, and in the coming days we have to face. On the basis of that, we may get some support from the side. So our economy is expanding very rapidly. For more than 2 decades, our growth is more than 5%. Without any interruption, for more than 2 decades now, our growth is more than 8%. And yes. And though our per capita income is modest, but in terms of population, 160-70 million people, the GDP size is very big, more than 300 billion. Bigger than some of the European countries. So back in 2012, our Parliament passed the Competition Act, and in that particular year, government through gazette notification established the Bangladesh Competition Commission, but started working since 2016, when government appointed the chairperson and 2 members. And since then, a little over 3 years we have been working. It is of course a statutory body, and under certain conditions, the Competition Commission can exercise judicial power. That's why it is possible to say. And of course, it is working independently, but for finance, we have to depend on government.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, Japanese also.
And our mission is to make the market competitive, a vibrant market economy, create to maintain territorial vision through so many tools we exercise. And our mission is to prevent, control and eradicate any sort of pollution, monopoly, oligopoly, or abuse of dominant position, or in some cases combination. If we think it is in future it will have some adverse effect, definitely we should prevent that kind of combination. and to establish a ICT-based, knowledge-based organization. I have already mentioned that law has given us mandate to create a vibrant competitive market through so many activities. And like other competition act in the world, we also have to work in 3 areas, main areas, against the anti-competitive agreements, and abuse of dominant position. I want to make clear that we are not against the dominant position, because sometimes dominant position is good for the consumer. Only when a dominant player abuse their position, market power against the interest of consumers, only then as a positive and of course, another area is probably will have an adverse effect on market and we have structured our organization in 4 areas: economy, business and research domain. And then again another wing, advocacy, policy and international relations. Under this week's activity, and another wing, inquiry and investigation wing. And last functional wing is law and enforcement. These are the 4 functional wings. Another one is secretary.
And what's the difference between inquiry and investigation and law and enforcement?
Okay, when we get some complaint, or maybe as per law we can take some to initiative. So we need to go a long way for initial inquiry and investigation. All those things done by this for education. So in that way we have organized our organization. But you have to keep in mind that our organization is very nascent. We are in a learning process. So maybe in the coming days we shall reorganize doing by learning process. We have actually 76 people sanctioned posts, but basically we have 30 people who are actually official levels, those who will be working, and rest staffs are support staff. So our 4 people is total number is 30, including our chairman. And we have done a lot of works for the last 3.5 years. So advocacy, like other organizations, because we have to make aware first people, and then only we can implement the law. So for that purpose, we have segmented our society of stakeholders. First, we have to educate our government members. This concept is new in our country, but in your case, we have started since 1947. You are probably the 3rd nation who enacted that.
Still, we are very struggling.
After Canada and USA, So our first group is government mechanism to educate them, make them aware about the commission and the law, and then again the judiciary, because they are so very important stakeholders, and then media, through media, the people, common people, and the main stakeholder is the business people. So these are the 4 groups of stakeholders we have been making them aware. From meeting, from seminar, from workshops, we have prepared some TVCI television commercials which telecasted through our state-owned television channel. Maybe in future we should telecast it through private channels. We have also participated in various television talks through which we are trying to make people, stakeholders aware about the competition commission, law and mandate. Also, we are trying to make the young generation aware about and opinion former of the society, future opinion former of the society. So we arrange essay competition at the college level and university level. And it will continue, not for one time, it will continue. and awareness notices we have published in daily newspapers so that people can know what is competition commission. So I have already mentioned it's a new concept in our society.
Very nice advertisement.
Yeah.
Advocacy.
I am trying to go fast because everybody wants to hear from your side.
No. Yeah, very valuable.
So regarding adjudication, we have in Illinois two final orders. People rented the rents, the convention for the programs for various purposes like social gathering. But the catering service, there was a single source. So one is to go that particular source. So this is a monopoly practice. So after a long process, following a long process, the commission has given an order that is complicated and they have rectified.
Very nice.
So this is our first verdict or order, whatever we call it. And then again we received another complaint. Our economy is really big. So more than around $100 billion international trade, including import and export. So for import and export, both purposes, we need services from customs clearing and forwarding agents. The biggest agency association based in our port city, Chicago, they are following a practice. They certainly are members for any tender, they have to bid at least 4%. So that is again oligopoly practice.
Yes.
And we have also given verdict against that practice. And we have given them 3 months for investigation. And probably they are doing it after period. They will come to us and show us. And your organization, steel organization, I have seen that word for uniform purchase by East Japan Railway Company and West Japan Railway Company. Similar case, our schools, most of the schools, they dictated students to buy their dresses or stationery from a single source. So we have taken, this is of course wrong. We have taken this issue and our group of experts, they are working on it. It is under investigation and hopefully in the coming days we will deliver our verdict. This is a single case, but when we replicate it across the country, that will bring a big change in that particular sector. Yes.
So in the course of investigation, do you conduct dawn raids or on-spot inspections in the course of investigation?
We have a long process. First, we request them to provide deeper information, and then we may call them, take interview, or any record, or any physical appearance, all those things. So after initial, inquiry, commission decide whether they will give verdict or go for a regular investigation. So if commission is team and go for long investigation, then they go follow the long
Can you make an on-site inspection?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yes, sure. Our law has that is why it is quasi judicial. Because if anybody don't try to permit us or our people or restrict our people, then we can apply our judicial. Very powerful organization. But still you have to.
Sir, I want to supplement you about the dawn raid. Our commission is new commission and we have not that sort of logistics happen because the shortage of human resources. I think we are not still able to have the dawn raids. But we can do that if our commission is getting that sort of human resource support. I think in the future we can have the opportunity to do that.
Do you need any warrant from the court?
Search warrant.
Search warrant. Yeah, we can ask somebody to appear.
Yes, please.
And again, we have done some market study. We don't have any, my colleague, thank you, Mr. Abdullah, for supplementing. So, already he has mentioned that lack of, expertise and lack of network. So, for market study, we are taking outsourcing this. So, BIDS, Bangladesh Institute of Development Studies, think tank, research organization. So, we have taken their services. Last year, we studied on onion market. Those who have been in Dhaka, for last 2 months, onion price is skyrocketing. Because in our gastronomy, our recipe, onion is very tiny. So, and this year we also have done study on rice market. So we have completed rules and regulations, but many regulations are in the final stage. And for merger and acquisition, we have to take expertise. So maybe in the coming days, we should take some website. And staff recruitment is simple to take or chairperson. So, and we are not working isolated. We are the member of ICN network. We are also involved with the OECD Global Organization and ANTA, AFTC. Last month's two officials were there in Korea and training. We have also contact with Competition Commission of India, and we are on the table of AFTC. And challenges, already mentioned. I don't want to elaborate it. Shortage of skill and lack of technical knowledge, because our society's perceptions, there are so many cartels and collisions in many segments of the market, but we cannot identify detail. Even we don't know which type of information is prohibited for information sharing at the association level. So every sector has their association, they are sharing information regarding market, regarding supply chain, but we don't have that much expertise which information is prohibited in our law. So these are the lackings we have been facing. And disruptive innovation, I think that is a challenge globally. Creating friendly, our chairperson has already mentioned, creating friendly ecosystem business. That is our prime objective of the government. Create database for various sectors. That database for working on some of the sectors. And align with or support our Vision 2020 SDG 2030. Because our government has a new vision by 2041. For technical assistance, we had elaborate discussion. You might take any time on their side, and that's not. But we do have any question.
Thank you very much. I'm very impressed with your, just 2 years, 2 or 3 years, I'm very impressed with your very, very extensive efforts to, you have already started investigation on some of the cases, and you have already conducted a punishment on 2 cases. So I'm very impressed, and so I lose confidence whether my explanation could contribute to your.
The thing is that we are not sure that whether this format is the standard format to do the thing. That is the question. That's why we are interested. Yes. Thank you.
I kept myself very brief because everybody is waiting for you.
Just one question. So, when establishing ECC and also drafting the constitutional law, so which country or international organizations supported the task?
Actually, that is long done. But definitely we have taken support through internet from Indian Commission or Asian, some other Asian countries. Definitely we have taken support through internet.
Such kind of cooperation network is really work well. So that's why with cooperation with India or other neighboring countries is really important. So we can join that kind of cooperation network. So that's very important. We are trying.
Still we're in the virtual world, We did not get any physical assistance from other countries.
It's like it's very important to avoid overlapping.
Yes.
So we need the cooperation between the donor countries, so we can avoid overlapping.
That's right. So maybe later on we can discuss how to avoid overlapping. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much.
So
Very.
now we are interested.
Okay. So, yeah. So let me So, thank you very much for your introduction and your discussion. And so, again, having said that, I'm a little bit losing confidence. But anyway, I'd like to talk about our experiences. But in this competition community, always, somebody said that newer is better. Newer can learn a lot from other competition authorities, so newer can establish or develop a more better organization to conduct competition enforcement. But anyway, we have, as we said, the longest history, third longest history around the world, next to Canada and the United States, as we said. And so we are very proud of it. But on the other hand, we are facing a number of challenging issues, and we have experienced the ups and downs and the triumphs and the errors. So we have learned a lot from those kinds of experiences. And one of the challenging issues is that, as we also said, that lack of the understanding of the people. So that's why you conduct a number of advocacy activities. It's really important. But before that, going to our explanation, today's all of our explanation just belongs to us, not to JFTC, not to Japan Fair Trade Commission's commissioner or chairman, and also not to the government. That's why we like to frankly discuss about our experiences. But anyway, one of the biggest challenging issue facing competition authority facing is that you say that lack of understanding how important competition policy is. So in this 21st century and even in the developed countries, some of the media reported that maybe you remember that several months ago, the Prime Minister Ms. Merkel of the Germany Prime Minister said that we need a kind of national champion. We try to raise a national champion by industrial policy, not competition policy or something like that. Still, even in European countries, some of the media reported that. It's not my comment, but media reported that. So that's why still in European countries, they don't understand how competition policy, how important competition policy is. So how should we do that? How should we respond to such kind of negative reaction to the competition policy? So maybe you are facing such kind of challenging issue already. So that's why we are always facing some kind of question. One is that competition policy can enhance economic growth. Some of the officials say that we need an industrial policy. We need protection of our national industry, our national small and medium-sized companies, something like that. And also, protecting industry makes sense for international competitiveness. And also, third question is that how can we restrain excessive high price to achieve increased growth, which is really important for everybody, every consumer, every poor and rich people. So that's why how to achieve increased growth is really important, most important task. And fourth is how can we let people understand competition policy. So that's why we prepared some of the studies or study results. One is that maybe it's a really important study result, which was conducted by a very famous World Bank's economists, two economists, Dr. Harry and Dr. Dutz. And they show that very significant, remarkable study result, which shows the relationship between intensity of consumption policy and its long-run growth. And they show that there is a strong correlation between effectiveness of consumption policy and economic growth. And vertical axis, vertical axis shows that the economic growth rate minus capital growth and labor growth. So residual growth is really important to sustain to make a sustainable growth. And horizontal axis shows that some kind of indicator of the business person's perception of the consumption law enforcement effectiveness. So, which is a very small character, very sorry, but which shows that the direct response from business persons of each country, which covers both developed countries and developing countries, which also includes some of the several Asian developing countries. And to the following question, does antitrust or anti-monopoly policy in your country effectively promote competition? So if strong, then it will show that the 7. If very weakest, then it is 0. So it's a kind of very positive relationship between them. And also, I explained that study results in the last March, very established, one of the established economic associations, International Economics Association. At the time, one of the famous doctor, Dr. Sawada, who is the chief economist of the Asian Development Bank, he conducted the 4 updates study, and he showed that there is a strong relationship between competition policy and business person perception, and also business person perception and economic growth. So I think that the competition policy, competition law enforcement could be the one of the main pillars to sustain economic growth in all of the countries, including the developing countries and developed countries. So it's a strong correlation. But it's a kind of macroeconomic view. There's some of the person wondering that, but we need some kind of protection policy to enhance the competitiveness of some specific sector or something like that. So that's why we show that the second slide, which shows the relationship between domestic rivalry and international competitiveness, which was conducted by Dr. Michael Porter, who is a very famous Harvard Business Law School professor, and they show that intense domestic rivalry, intense domestic rivalry is positively associated with international trade performance. On the other hand, protection of the home market by limiting competitive pressure works against export competitiveness. And it's just a Japanese experience, but the dates is really good. The data derived from the economic data during the 1970s and 1980s. In those days, Japanese economies faced a very challenging situation, sharp increase of oil price, and also abortion of the IMF fixed rate regime. At the time, the $1 is 30-60 yen. We got a lucrative profit from the exporting some of the goods to the United States or European countries. But that regime ended in 1971, and oil price sharply increased in 1974. We faced a very challenging situation. But some of the industry requested exemption in Anti-Monopoly Act, Thompson Law. But some of the industry didn't request the exemption. So Dr. Michael Porter said that that if some of the industry requested exemption under Thompson Law, then that industry tended to shrink. So they lost their international competitiveness. On the other hand, if the industry didn't request the exemption under the Act, they thrive. They explore their international competitiveness. So in the macro point of view, commission policy can enhance the international competitiveness. And also, our JFTC's Commission Policy Research Center also updated this data, this study result, and it shows that recently the European Minister said that we need consolidation of the companies to raise the national salary. But CPR's study shows that it was wrong. Consolidation of the companies couldn't work for international competitiveness. You should let the commission authorities review the merger and acquisition along with the commission law. That's a appropriate answer for raising the international competitiveness. So some of the politicians say that we need protection from the foreign companies or foreign huge companies, but it doesn't work for raising the international competitiveness. That's our study results show that. And but on the other hand, maybe some of the person wondering that, of course, commission policy is really needed, but sometimes competition can, widen the gap between the poor people and rich people, and also widen the gap between the stronger companies and the weaker companies. So SME always suffering stronger competition from other competitors, foreign countries or something like that. So that's why it's our turn. Commission authority can, intervene into the abuse of dominance of foreign companies. That's why recently we conducted investigation and Coleman Japan, which is a subsidiary company of the worldwide sports gear manufacturing company, which set the resale price maintenance. So that's why we conducted investigation against Coleman. And also, we established a contact point for obtaining information related to violation in the digital economy. Recently, so-called GAFA, Google, Apple, and Facebook, and Amazon, sometimes allegedly made abuse of dominance. So that's why we conducted this investigation against Amazon and also Apple and also Airbnb in Japan. So we conducted an investigation and those companies, and they changed their business model. They stopped the abuse of dominance. So that's really important to let the people understand that how important commission policy and commission enforcement is. So we try to get rid of that kind of abusive conduct. And also, this slide shows that some of the cartel or bid rigging have some kind of reversibility effect, which is that poor people can get harm from the cartel bid rigging by the similar amount of increase of the price of the staple foods, so that the poor people can be harmed by cartel bid rigging than rich people. Same amount of increase of price could harm the poor people and the rich people. So that's why we should eradicate such kind of bid rigging or the cartel. So we show that this slide shows that 90% of the cartel and the bid rigging got unjust gains from cartels and bid rigging, 80% or more of the affected sales. So they got a very lucrative profit from cartel and bid rigging. So we should get rid of it. And also, next slide shows that it's an updated study result. So, but maybe these statistics or study results show that how important commission policy is. But still, some of the people cannot understand. So that's why we arranged some of the actual results of policy evaluation by GFTC. We show the consumer benefits predicted by company merger reviews, which shows that the protected consumer benefits by stopping merger and acquisition. Merger and acquisition, some of the merger and acquisition could raise the price at least more than 5%. And also, this is very important. Third column is mentioning the subcontractor benefits protected by directly by measure against violation of some control law, which is a complementary law of the Anti-Monopoly Act. So if the larger companies have an abuse of super bargaining position against the SME, then we intervene that. So that's kind of private conflicts. Then some of the SME can get back the money from the larger company, contracting larger company. But anyway, we arrange that kind of statistics and show them to the people. And also, we conducted a number of lectures to the school students. So as you already conducted the lecture to the junior students, and we created the character of the JFTC's official character, Dokkin. Dokkin is a Japanese name of our competition law. So it's our mascot character. So to attract the attention of the students, including the university students, it's really useful. But anyway, so having such kind of dialogue with business people and also consumers and also school students is really important to enhancing understanding. But anyway, that's our experiences. Of course, we can have other tool to let the people understand. But anyway, maybe your experience is also very useful. So you mentioned that the school students competition or essay. It's a really we've never done that. So that's why it's really useful.
It's kind of new idea for us.
Yeah, that's right.
Future social media.
Yes, that's right. Exactly.
But anyway, that's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sadeki, for your nice presentation. So my query, like you, Lemon, that in this open market economy, if any big player, big company, sell their products maybe at higher price, can we fix the price of any product?
Yeah, I think that if we intervene.
And profit margin is very high.
Yeah, I see. I know.
And SMS cannot grow. You understand?
Yeah, that's right. So it's a really always very challenging issue. Some of the people ask us to restrain such kind of excessive high price. But I think that the shortest way to get rid of such kind of excessive high price is that they get rid of the cartel or abuse of market dominance. Of course, that some of the foreign dominant companies, they get the high, very good and lucrative profit from your country. But if so, you should invite other foreign companies, to enter into your market. Or, have some profit from your company, from your country, from your market, then you can invite other, foreign companies to enter into, to sell your products, the similar products or some similar products. So I think that the only way to solve this problem is not the intervening price mechanism. Intervention of the price mechanism could hurt the market mechanism. So if the government intervene into the core function of the price mechanism or restoring the high price, then it could hurt the competition. It could hurt the price mechanism. So that's why competition law enforcement by eradicating the between cartel or abuse of market dominance could work well for competition or well-functioning market. So I think that it's really hard to persuade a state person or a congressman. Yeah. So that's why we need such kind of statistics. But I really understand what you're saying, what you're coming from.
Now, what they can do, you see, the big companies, even they can offer lower price maybe for their product, so that the other company, small company, can start that business, because intentionally they will fix the price of the product very low, very low.
Unjust low price.
Unjustified low price. And in that case, other companies when maybe a new one, they will not survive.
Yeah, but very low price could be beneficial for consumer. Of course, you are saying that
Beneficial for the consumers.
But the small and medium-sized small and medium SMEs companies cannot survive in that situation. I really understand. But competition could work well for some kind of burden sharing or market sharing. If SME cannot survive in that market, SME cannot find a way to provide other goods or other, the competition can enhance the kind of international comparative, how can I say, international comparative, Mr. Dr. Ricardo find out that international comparative, yeah, that's right, advantage, that's right. So that works well in the competition function. So of course I think that some of the SME always requesting some of restraining the market, restraining the competition, but it doesn't work in the long run. So the Commission Authority should endure such kind of political pressure. Always, JPC always facing such kind of request from the state person or congressman. Unjust low price should be prohibited by some kind of law. I really understand. I feel great sympathy with you. Yeah, of course, sometimes JFDC made some kind of concessional behavior or concession products against some kind of unjust price. On the investigation against some of the big liquor shops which offer very small playing with the JFDC. I really understand that. So maybe we can share such an experience with you. It's a kind of political, some kind of concession, and so we have experienced a number of things.
Pushing situation. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
question.
Yeah, I just want to clear some one thing. That is, countries like one of the countries basically impose tariff, not tariff restricts measures. Basically, for their to protect the industries, local industries, and also provide the resistance to flourish their export market. So, how this statement actually justifies this? Intense domestic rivalry is positively associated with international trade performance, and conversely, this goes against export competitiveness. Countries do that. So, how this statement is justify this? What we are doing to export competitiveness in one market, international market. We are providing assistance like cash and silver subsidies to provide our industry and also restrict with trade, tariff and non-tariff.
Yeah, of course, it's a very tough question, and thank you very much for your very good question. And of course, Dr. Michael Porter shows that protecting some of the industry could harm international competitiveness. But on the other hand, the statesperson always requested some protection policy to raise the import tax or tariff or something like that. But it could go against the international competitiveness. So I think that but on the other hand, industrial policy can include that raising some of the research and development through universities, research or some kind of things. So if the government find out some of the comparatively advantageous industry, so they can pour the money on the research and development through a university or something like that. And also you can arrange some of the patent policy to make some benefit to the innovators or something like that. So that kind of things, that kind of policy could enhance the international competitiveness to some of the industry, which have an advantage, international advantage against other industry. So, but on the other hand, competition policy, competition authority side we always monitor what's going on in the market. If you find out some of the abusive conduct of the foreign companies, we should get rid of such kind of abusive conduct of the foreign companies. So if foreign companies enter into your market and they try to get rid of the other countries by not on the competition merit, then we can intervene in the country. So anyway, the functioning market well could enhance the international confidence. So maybe of course it's a long way to go but I think I've heard you have he's mentioned that you attained a very high growth rate. Utilizing this opportunity, you can enhance some of the competition policy. Get rid of the abusive conduct, get rid of the bid rigging or cartel. So people really understand how competition policy, how important competition policy, or how work, how well the competition or market work for the enhancing the economic growth or something like that. Sorry, I'm not sure whether my answer could work well for your question or not.
It's not only Bangladesh. Countries like Bangladesh and use these tools to export for better export performance. So it's needed at these positions as well. But actually, trade liberalization, we are in trade liberalization. Yeah, we want trade liberalization to foreign companies will come and competition commission will monitor whatever it is. But the tools that are used for trade restrictions, this is not only tariff now, it's also non-tariff. So it's very tough to calculate or other things, non-tariff measures or any other restriction. But countries are doing this because they are believing that the trade liberalization is welcome, but they are restricting within these tools. So these are opposite statement or opposite thinking actually. So that's why I asked the statement that is recently intense domestic rivalry. Yes, we need this, but we are not doing this. So what actually this means or justifies this, that's right.
Thank you very much.
So, time constraint, we can hear another respected Hiro.
Yeah, the Hiro will share the overview of the concept.
Okay, so I'll talk about
Yeah.
okay, overview of Japanese competition policy enforcement. This is our building, Tokyo office building, and maybe you have a chance to visit here in the near future. Okay. So, as we told you earlier, that the JFTC was established in 1947 based on the Anti-Money Act, and the JFTC in narrow sense consists of one chairman and one chairman of commissioners, and this chairman is the former administrative vice minister of finance, and for commissioners they are former secretary general of JFTC and also former judge and former public prosecutor and economist. And under this one chairman for commissioners, we have general secretariat. So in a broad sense, we call this together with general secretariat JFTC. And here, this bar graph here below, this red bar shows the number of total staff of JFTC. As you can see here, so there are 837 officials working in JFTC in 2018, and it was in 1947 it was 284 officials, so it tripled in 70 years. And about the half of the officials are working in investigation bureau, 437. So here is the blue one, is the budget. So in fiscal year 2018, our budget was something like 11 billion Japanese yen. So it's about 8 billion Bangladeshi baht. So moving to next slide. So this is organizational chart of government of Japan. And as you can see here, GFTC is attached to a cabinet office. And GFTC exercises its authority independently without any supervision of other ministries and agencies. And we implement our law independently in terms of just in terms of implementation of Anti-Monopoly Act. And besides that, for example, as to human resource and budget issues, we need to have an approval from other ministries and agencies, for example, Ministry of Finance. So this is the organizational chart of GFTC. As I told you, there's a commission and also under that General Secretariat. And under General Secretariat, there's a secretariat in charge of budget and personal affairs and international affairs. And Economic Affairs Bureau. So this bureau is in charge of amendment of Anti-Monopoly Act, also establishing guidelines and conducting market studies and also merger reviews. And here on the right, Investigation Bureau, doing investigations. So this is the map of Japan. And as you can see, Japan is divided into 8 areas, and we have 8 regional offices. And these regional offices also have investigation units and handle relatively small cases, regional cases. So now here on the Monopoly Act. So it was enacted in 1947, 73 years old. And the purpose of this act is to promote fair and free competition, blah blah blah, by prohibiting. So these are the 2 pillars of prohibition: the unreasonable restraint of trade, and so these cartels and bid ratings, and then private monetization and unfair trade practices. We also do M&A reviews, and I will leave this to Ms. Igarasi later on. So first one, the first pillar, the prohibition of unreasonable restraint of trade. So the Anti-Monopoly Act prohibits unreasonable restraint of trade, such as cartels and bid ratings. And what is unreasonable restraint of trade? Collusions among competitors which causes substantial restraint of competition in the market. So what is substantial restraint of competition? So it's like hampering competition function of the market. So which means bringing about a situation where companies involved in anti-competitive activities can control prices and other conditions to a certain extent. So and we do that, so we justice by considering factors such as the market share of companies involved in anti-competitive activities, and also market share of other companies in the market, and also situation on imports and situation on market barriers to entry, and also whether there has been intense competition in the market, and also something like competitive pressure from neighboring markets. So we consider all these factors and then decide whether, determine whether there was a substantial restraint of competition in the market. So this is the case example. This is based on a real case. So here, these 5 travel agencies agreed to establish standard charges for planning of tours, chartered buses, accommodations, and for conductors concerning school trips of municipal junior high schools. So it's very common in Japan that the junior high schools and high schools organize school trips, and they ask these travel agencies to organize trips. And here, these travel agencies set their prices higher than the standard charges. So if there have been no cartels, the schools could have received services in cheaper prices. So GFTC finds this act substantially restrains competition in the market for group tours relating to the school trips for the municipal junior high schools. So this is an example of cartel. here this is the example of bid ratings. So in this case, in biddings for electrical works ordered by a local government, 10 companies are designated successful bidders in advance through executive meetings and enable those bidders to win the biddings. So this is typical bid rating case, and in this way, 10 companies avoided competition and secured their profits. So if there have been no bid ratings, the local government could have received services in cheaper prices, and which means benefiting taxpayers. So this is the example of bid rating. And now the second pillar of provisions. So Anti-Monopoly Act prohibits private monopolization. And so what is private monopolization? So business activities by a company or companies controlling or excluding the business activities of other companies, which cause a substantial restraint on competition in the market. So as I mentioned earlier, so this is the same in cartels and bid rating. So substantial restraint on competition means, once again, hampering of competition function on the market, which means bringing about a situation where companies involved in anti-competitive activities can control the prices and other conditions to a certain extent. So, and then next slide. So this is the case. So this is basically the case of Intel. You know, American CPU maker Intel in 2004. So here, a CPU maker, actually this is Intel, required 5 PC personal computer makers not to use CPUs manufactured by the competitors of maker Intel. And at the same time, Intel promised the 5 PC makers that it would offer rebates if they follow the condition. So in this case, the maker I tried to establish the market power by driving out its competitors from the market. And at the time, Intel had about 90% market share of CPUs used for personal computers. So it was dominant in the market at the time. So in this case, this is the private monopolization, and the act of maker I substantially restrains competition in the market. So next slide. So the third pillar, the provision of unfair trade practices. So Article 19 of Anti-Monopoly Act prohibits unfair trade practices. And unfair trade practices is something like resale price maintenances and non-price restraints, etc. There are a variety of kinds, and which tend to impede fair competition in the market. So here, I say tend to impede fair competition. And tend to impede fair competition is less severe than substantial restraint of competition in terms of negative impact on competition in the market. So whether applying Article 3, cartel bid ratings and private monopolization, or this Article 19 depends on the magnitude of an anti-competitive effect on the competition in the market. So when the adverse effect of an act goes so far as to cause a substantial restraint of competition, then the act is considered as violation of Article 3, not violation of Article 19. So this Article 19 is preventive regulations of the Article 3 of the Anti-Monopoly Act. So here's the basic example. So this is the ice cream company H. So a large ice cream manufacturer made retail stores sell its products higher than the price decided by the company H. And company H randomly checked if the stores were complying with the rule and stopped supplying the products if they were not. So company H was afraid of intense competition between retailers, which would cause a decrease in price of the ice cream. So they wanted to secure profit. So in this case, consumers have to pay the same price wherever they go and paying higher than competitive price. So this is the example of the price maintenance, which tends to improve fair competition in the market. So
What is the difference between the WTO rules in this case and the trade rules? Everything in the unfair trade.
I think the definition is different. So I'm not familiar with WTO context.
Activities is similar, right? What we say others low price, high price. Then competition policy is that they are able to trade.
So you're talking about anti-dumping. So no, it's not the same. It's just the protecting the mechanism of competition and ensuring that the situation where the business entities can decide their prices and conditions by themselves. So it is kind of different. So here legal measures against violations of the Act. So we have for private mobilization, unreasonable restraint of trade and unfair trade practices. So all these activities are subject to cease and desist order first of all. So this cease and desist order is something like ordering stop doing the contacts and also ordering not to repeat a similar contacts in the future, and also something like formulating compliance manuals within the corporation. So something like this, and also they are subject to search and payment order, and also as to private mobilization and unreasonable restraint of trade. They could be brought to criminal procedures if the negative impact is very significant and affects the people's life. So this is the flow chart for administrative procedures for anti-monopoly act violations, the blue ones. So on the left, there are 3 boxes: detection by the FTC and reports by the public and minutes application. And these are the sources of our information concerning the possible violation of anti-monopoly act. But not the all information is very useful. So we need to pick up the useful ones. And if we believe that there's a violation of the anti-monopoly act, we start our investigation here, and which is down rates and all the submit reports and also interrogations. And then we'll move to procedures for hearings. Here, those companies involved can have opportunity to be heard by the JTC, and we present evidence for establishment of the case. And then, of course, then we will have a cease and desist order and a search and payment order. And if companies are not satisfied, then they can bring the case to court, of course, here. And I'll skip this criminal procedures. Last but not least, we also do other activities, market studies and guidelines, and establishing guidelines and consultation. Consultation is like companies can consult with the JFTC with regard to their future business plans. And also advocacy, so this is very important. So we hold seminars and workshops for companies, industries, and even junior high school students. And also this international cooperation, as I told you, like we are organizing seminars and workshops for different countries, and we participate in discussions in international forums such as OECD and ASEAN, and also UNCTAD and other activities. So this is my presentation, and if you have any question or comments.
Actually, I wanted to know from you, for example, you have got some sort of information that there is some sort of betraying in an office relating to public procurement. For the first time, how do you proceed? What is
so we got first we get information from the maybe from public about the information about the possible beginning, and then we conduct downgrades, and then we gather all evidence from the offices of the companies involved, and of course sometimes we use forensic technique, digital forensic. So we check all the computers and sweep up all the evidence, and then we build a case. So and also we call the people involved in the activities to GFTC and have information. And so that's the way we gather information about the big rings. About how to establish a case.
So do you issue some notice in writing
yes.
to appear before you?
Yes. Before big ring, we need to present why we are here. Why we are here because we need to conduct on the spot inspection for the purpose of investigating potential big rigging. Suspected big rigging. So we will present why we are here.
So moto you can do it. So moto at your home or on some relations.
Sorry.
If there is any big reading, so you have got the news from the newspaper or maybe other sources. So you can take action so moto and at your own or maybe on some relations or some complaints.
Yeah, some complaints, but recently we received some of the VNC application. The VNC application, some of the companies consulting the lawyer, and then they get the legal advice. You should go to the JFTC and you should get a reduction, full reduction of the surgery payment order. So then many VNC applicants come to JFTC. Annually, we received around 100 VNC applications from the business community. So every year we receive it and we made an investigation based on the VNC applicants' information. And also, before introducing the VNC application system, we received some of the informants, whistleblowers' information. Some of the whistleblower came to JFTC and talk about some of the past counterconducts of and then we received some of the information, and then we made an investigation by making recommendations and like that. So that's
And do you have some sort of intelligence unit in?
yes, of course. We have one intelligence unit to gather information. So some of the abusive contacts can be started by gathering information by the information unit, intelligence unit. That's the information analysis office. That's the official name.
Yeah, we conduct preliminary investigation prior to downgrades.
So it's an independent unit or it is attached to?
So within our investigation unit.
Okay, thank you. We have another presenter. May I invite maybe?
That's right.
Gauri Igarashi.
I'm going to introduce our overview of business combination review, but what I'm going to explain is a little bit easy for you, my presentation is based on our group training program, so I hope this helps you understand how the group training is. Okay. Can you start with the slide 2? So regulation of business combination is one of the pillars of AMA. Business combination is regulated when it may be substantially destroying competition in a particular field of trade. Regulation of business combination is ex-ante regulation. That means the parties are required to notify to the JFTC prior to conducting the business combination. This is an image of the business combination. On the left side, it shows the before business combination. So suppose company A, B, and C are selling the same product. So in this circumstance, they are independent and they are competitive. So users can choose companies comparing their selling price and trade conditions. On the left side, it shows the after business combination. By business combination, company A and B became a same group. So in this circumstance, how are users affected? The number of sellers decreases. Users have no choice but to accept sellers' rising price. The JFTC reviews business combination in accordance with the guideline. In Japan, if business combination meets some requirements, the party has to notify to the JFTC 30 days before conducting business combination. Today, due to time constraints, I cannot explain the notification system, but I attached the Annex 2 about the notification system. So if you are interested in the notification system, please see the Annex 2 or maybe later. So once the JFTC accepts the notification from the parties, the JFTC reviews from the viewpoint of this idea if business combination may be substantially to restrain competition in a particular field of trade. So if JFTC would decide that business combination would restrain competition, the business combination would be prohibited. But practically, the business combination could be approved if the parties conduct some effective remedies. I will touch on the remedies later. So next slide. This is a flow of business combination review in the JFTC. At first, the JFTC make a decision on whether or not the case is subject to form a joint relationship. Joint relationship is relationship in which two or more companies operate a business in a united form, whether fully or partially by shareholding, mergers, or other transactions. In order to check whether there is a joint relationship, the JFTC sets a criteria, two criteria. One, a company holds more than 50% of another company's voting rights. Two, a company holds more than 20% of another company's voting rights, and the ratio is the highest among the holders of the other company's voting rights. Once it's determined there is a joint relationship, you need to consider what type of business combinations applicable. There are three types of the business combination. Horizontal business combination is created between companies with a competitive relationship in the same particular field of trade. Vertical business combination is created between companies in different trading positions. And conglomerate business combination is neither horizontal nor vertical business combination. Among those three types of business combination, horizontal business combination is considered to have the biggest impact on the competition because it decreases the competitors. On the other hand, vertical and conglomerate business combination is not considered to have the big influence on the competition. So in general, their effect may not be substantially restrained competition. So next step is to identify a particular field of trade. In other words, market definition. Particular field of trade is range for judging whether a case substantially restrains competition. Ranges are defined with outer edge of competitive pressure range, which enables for appropriate to calculate market share of competitors. Particular field of trade is defined by product range and geographic range. When you consider the product range and geographic range, it is very important to consider substitutability for users. It's very important. So regarding the product range, suppose that the price of product A is raised by 5 to 10%. If few users switch to the product B, the particular product range is defined only by product A because there is no substitutability. On the other hand, if many users switch to the product B, the product range is expanded, like product range will be product A and B, because there is substitutability. This idea is so-called Smith test. The idea of Smith test is adapted not only in Japan, but also in the United States and Europe. Regarding the geographic range, it's the same idea as the product range. After defining product range and geographic range, the next step is to examine whether the business combination could be applicable to the safe harbor standards. The safe harbor standard is a range of business combination that does not usually restrain competition. This is the safe harbor standards for horizontal business combination in Japan, in the US, and Europe. As you can see, there is no big difference between those three. The safe harbor standard is defined by HHI and increment of HHI, which are considered to reflect the change of market structure by business combination. So as you may know, HHI is abbreviation of Hartman-Hashman index. I cannot pronounce well, but this is very famous.
Hartman index.
Yes, thank you. So the typical standard is this, whether or not HHI after business combination is 1500 or less. So please remember this number, 1500. It comes up later. HHI is calculated by totaling the square of each company's market share and indicates market concentration.
In the monopoly market of company A with 100% market share, the square of 100 is 10,000. It exceeds 1,500 that I mentioned earlier. In the oligopoly market of company A and B with the market share of 50% each, the HHI is 5,000. It also exceeds the 1,500. So 1 and 2 are considered to restrain competition. So in case of 3, with a market share of 10% by 10 companies, it does not exceed 1,500. So in this case, this business combination is not to restrain competition. So review is over at this stage. The JFTC approves this business combination. So what happens in case of 1 and 2? Next page. So if safe harbor standards are not applicable to a case, those determining factors, the JFTC consider those determining factors. As a result of comprehensive consideration on those determining factors, the effect of business combination is not considered to substantially to restrain competition. The review is over at this stage. The JFTC approves the business combination. I'm sorry, due to time constraints, I cannot explain each of them, but please refer later. As I said earlier, even though the effect of the business combination may be substantially to restrain competition in a particular territory, it may be approved with the effective remedies. This is a condition of remedies. The remedies should be structural measures such as the transfer of business. It should be those that restore competition that could be lost as a result of the competition in order to prevent parties from controlling the price and other factors. In principle, the remedy should be carried out before the business combination. However, behavioral measures may be approved in a market of featuring rapidly changing market structure through technological innovation. Regarding the examples of the remedies, the typical structural measure is the divestiture of business, because it is to establish new competitor or to strengthen existing competitors. So I am touching on the outline of the business combination review. So lastly, let me introduce one actual case. This is a case of business combination between regional banks in Japan. Fukuoka Financial Group notified the JFTC of its plan to acquire the 18th bank's share, obtaining more than 50% of the EB's voting rights. Those companies are operating business, banking business, and they were strictly competing. So they were competing in the field of the business lending, non-business lending, deposit in various fields. But regarding the other than business lending, the FTC concluded it does not restrain competition because we found that there are many competitive pressure from the competitors. But in regarding to the business lending, which seems to have the biggest competitive influence by the business combination, the FTC focused its view on whether there would be competitive pressures sufficient enough for, especially to small and medium-sized companies, SMEs, in order to secure alternative lenders after the business combination. So during the review, the FTC conducts the interview to the SMEs and competitors. In addition to that, we sent a questionnaire to more than 4,000 SMEs in order to judge how SMEs recognize the competitor of the parties as alternative lenders. As you can see in this chart, no sufficient competitive pressures by competitor was found. The FTC conveyed concern to FFG that this business combination might be substantially to restrain competition. So, in response to our concern, the FFG proposed us the kind of remedy in such as selling a significant amount of loans to competitors in order to reduce their market share. So by doing so, the competitors are expected to expand the client and strengthen organization. So eventually, the FTC concluded that business combination was not substantially restrain competition based on the premises that the FFG and the EB would implement the proposed remedies. So it's been very quick, but that's all from me. Thank you for your attention.
In this case, did you take HSI calculation? HSI calculation, did you put it?
Yes. HHI, yes. It was about, it's published, so I can say that more than 70,000. You mean HHI? I'm sorry. Yes, of course.
And what was the result? Below 2,500 or between 1,500 and 2,500?
I must remember the exact number, but it's
Must be within this limit.
More than 25,
yes, of course.
more than 2,500 is very high.
Very high.
The larger bank has a 70% market share, so maybe 70, square of 70 is 4,900, so that's why.
In some areas, the market share was 100%.
100%, right. Okay, 10,000. So very high hash market, $50 hash index.
That's why initially we did not give permission.
but we accept the proposal of the revenue. They sell some of the loan to other competitors. So they finally will accept this project.
I'm not sure.
So it's an innovative field.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much. We went through a very important sessions conducted by respected delegates. Again, I must thank the delegates for taking courage to come here. By this way, we have been embraced. So we are very grateful to you. As JFTC is very old organization with very huge experience working in Japan and providing training or support to other countries. So as I told you that this organization is very new. We started our journey only 3 years back. So we need to learn so many things. And Japan, JFTC may be the model to follow the way you are working. And I must look forward to work with you together, and of course with the help of JICA. I may expect that from JFTC you have that opportunity to provide some training maybe for our officials. We will be really happy. And we are thinking to take up a project where we will take some important activities so that this organization can be strengthened and we can deliver our services. My government is very firm that this organization will be functional with effective results. As a colleague told her that yes, our economic growth is very faster and we are very concerned to keep it sustainable. And you know that by 2024 the country will be graduated from ABC and more challenges will come. So I understand that this organization can contribute something to our national economy. And business is very important for us because everybody is running after money or power. So if you can ensure friendly or fair, free environment of business in the country, so I think that economic growth will be higher. So we're very highly concerned about that. We are looking for what to take help from JFTC and JICA as well. So thank you again for coming here. And we have some retail refreshment from JFTC. So I will be happy if you please accept it. Thank you.